Roles of value stream management. Today's topic on all things discipline agile. Hi, I'm Joshua Barnes, and I am the founder of Process Mentors. This is episode 7 of a 12-part discipline agile value stream management series that I've been doing. And with that, I will get right into where we're at. So far in episode 1 through 6, I've covered transformation roadmap, the minimum business increment, the idealized value stream, 2 forms of value flow planning. And today I'll be focusing on some of the roles that we want to see included in value stream management and some existing roles that will have some changes in potentially. So let's start off with taking a look at one of the graphics that I've been using over these past few weeks, and it's the idealized value stream. And as we're looking at the business side, where our discovery workflow is at, and then we've got our implementation side, where the doing of work is at, we've got this decomposition that we see as we go from our strategic objectives to initiatives, to the business backlog, and all the way to the point where we have value that we can deliver to our customer. And I'd like to take this moment and just say we've got a few people in attendance. Hello, Kennedy. Also, hello, Alexandra. Good to see you both here. So where we're looking at is how we want to see value flowing across this stream into our customers as efficiently as possible, making better decisions on what to do next and how best to do it. And with moving to a value stream management approach, we need to be taking a look at some of the roles that we're going to need to potentially have included that we don't have, and again, some changes in those that we have. So first, I'd like to start off with the value stream consultant. So the DA value stream management approach is actually based off of the Discipline Agile Value Stream Consultant Certification Workshop, which has a lot of things that aren't necessarily new or novel, just out in the industry. So it takes some of the best parts that are out there, like Discipline Agile does with everything, and brings it into a body of knowledge that we can make some choices on. And then it does have some very unique things that we want to see somebody like a value stream consultant being brought into organizations to be able to help with. So from a value stream consultant perspective, a few of the highlights that I would like to share is one of the primary ways that you get value from engaging with a value stream consultant is that they're in a role to be able to help the organization create an improvement backlog and plan of action. So we've got a number of ways. One of the things that I focused on in the initial episodes was how we don't have to have our implementations focused primarily at the team level. We can take a look at what we might be able to do across the entire value stream and build on that. And one of the things that the value stream consultant does is help to shepherd that type of a mindset and awareness in. They also educate and encourage the support for the improvement plan, have expert level knowledge and experience on organizational transformation practices. So one of the things that we want to see in a value stream consultant is that they understand value streams, they understand all the things we might be able to do, but from a transformation perspective, they understand how to attend to culture, how to build trust, how to enable the people in the organization that are going to take on the managing and improving of their value streams over the long term, right? Perpetual improvements. And they also collaborate and mentor the value stream manager. So we have this inherent problem with value streams in that the way organizations typically manage their people, right? The hierarchical structure is opposed to how value gets delivered through the organization, right? How it flows through it. So one of the things that we want to have is we want to have somebody that is looking at the value stream, helping to identify improvements and helping to own that part of what we're trying to accomplish. And that's the value stream manager. So if we go back and we take a look at the idealized value stream and we see our value stream consultant is end-to-end, well, we also see the value stream manager end-to-end, where the value stream consultant is going to help with that organizational transformation strategy, the value stream manager is a role that they will be collaborating with very, very tightly. Now, we might not have a value stream manager already in place, or we might have a program manager that's doing something very similar to some of these, or a portfolio manager. So in the beginning part of a transformation and a focus on improving value streams, we'll see that the value stream consultant might need to be taking on some of the things that over time the person in the value stream manager role will grow into. So value stream manager attends to the entire value stream from start to finish, focused on how to improve the flow of value through the stream. And remember, it's the implementation side that I've spent a lot of time trying to bring awareness that it's not just the development value stream. It's not just for IT-enabled organizations, the Agile teams or the development teams. It's the three value stream segments or value streams that I've talked about, which is the development value stream, the operational value stream, and the support value stream. Identifies the constraint, reasons about it, and helps to make decisions around it. So this is where in the Discipline Agile Value Stream Consultant course, we're pulling in some of the content from the theory of constraints. Finally, supports proper collection of flow metrics. So one of the things that is really important for this role and for the whole organization is to look at different types of metrics. And one of the ones that I'll mention here is flow time. Flow time is one of the metrics that comes from Tame Flow, and it is a very nice fit into this part of the DAVSC content and DA's value stream management approach. Flow time is very similar to cycle time, but it applies specifically to the work items in our minimum business increments. And the clock starts ticking for all work items in the MBI the very moment that the MBI is released into the workflow. So when it's pulled from that implementation backlog, that's when flow time is started. So going back and taking a look at our idealized value stream, let's take a look at the business side and portfolio management. So one of the roles that might already be in existence, and one of the roles that has not only a lot of value contribution, potentially if you have somebody in the business architect role, but there are some things that we would need to see change potentially when focusing on value streams. So one of the things that the business architect role does in this context is focuses on developing and maintaining the business capabilities of the organization, aligns capabilities to strategies and new work to investment strategy, right? So that's where we see our strategies, our strategic outcomes. And again, in this case, I'm showing that for this value stream that I was basing my example off of, 3 of a number of strategic outcomes were being helped to be realized from this particular value stream. And those strategies, right, the desired outcomes are broken down into initiatives, which are then further decomposed into the MBIs or MVPs. So the business architect identifies initiatives to support achieving our desired outcomes from our strategic objectives and attends to the impacts, the dependencies, and risks of the new work across other value streams and value network. So another really important thing is we're moving towards identifying our value streams and then managing them where we can continue to make improvements in the flow that we see within the streams, is that the business architect needs to be working across the other value streams to see if there are impacts, what types of dependencies we might need to take into consideration. And for larger organizations that have many value streams, oftentimes we'll see that value streams come together to form a value network that ultimately deliver the real meaningful value to a customer. So as we go a little bit further along in this, and we're now seeing how the bridge between our business backlog and our intake queue is the discovery workflow. And in this space, we have our product manager. So identifies minimum business increments and minimum viable products to form the business backlog, balances all of classes of work, so the MBIs and the MVPs, as well as how we're going to address going through our intake process, defects, quality issues that we have, paying down technical debt, compliance and regulatory type of work, right? All those other things, whether they're going to be a reservation of capacity within an MBI, or we're going to explicitly be seeing some of the workflow through here. Sequences the business backlog. So the sequencing of the business backlog and those items that are at the top are the ones that we're going to invest more time into as they are reaching ready for implementation, which is how they get into the intake queue. They have met the definition of ready to be able to pull them potentially now into our implementation backlog as we have capacity and as we're looking at the next thing we're capable of doing. So we can look at all of the varying roles. And again, in such a short period of time, I can't cover all of the roles. And even to try and not have too much of a cluttered graphic, what I want to show is we have stakeholders, again, end to end, right? Starting and ending with our customer. We have our DAVSC, right? Discipline Agile Value Stream Consultant. We have our Value Stream Manager, business and technical architects. We've got our product manager. We've got our program managers, product owner, architecture owner, team leads, team members, and our development value stream, and then operational and supporting roles as they're contributing value to any given MBI. So the next part of this I want to be able to share are just some of the things for consideration on how we might need to see some of our existing Agile roles take on different responsibilities and have a little bit of a reservation of their capacity to do different things. So, right, in Discipline Agile, we've had something that looks like this for quite some time. We have our product owner that is part of our Discipline Agile delivery team, and we have them as the focal point or the intersection, the primary voice of the product to the stakeholder community, end users and domain experts, people in finance management, all the way down, right? All the types of stakeholders that we have. Now, this graphic isn't intended to have the product owner being a shield or the buffer where our stakeholders never talk with our Agile team members. That's not at all what this is intended to show, but that they are the voice of the customer and they are the primary conduit interacting with our stakeholder community. So their focus is on building the right product for these stakeholders. Now, going just a little bit further on what we've had in DA for quite some time is product owner and product manager, right? Near-term tactical focus versus long-term strategic focus. So as we're looking at iterations where we've got stories that are being implemented anywhere from 1 week to 2 weeks, maybe a little bit longer. And then we have our next period of time. I've got here 2 weeks to 3 months, epics, features, capabilities, 1 to 6 months, which is where we see our minimum business increments potentially, right? Beyond that, we'd be looking at initiatives, things that are going to take potentially 6 months or longer. We're going to have multiple MBIs and potentially some MVPs that would then result in MBIs once we do some further development of a new product. And the overlap here, we've always shown in DA that we've got our product owner with this tactical focus, and we've got our product manager with the strategic focus. Now, for smaller initiatives, for smaller products, smaller organizations, might be the same person. These are roles. Or we could have two very distinct people in these roles because of the amount of capacity needed. So going to a Agile at scale, not a scaled Agile approach, but Agile at scale where we have a product or products that are larger than a single team can deliver. Well, one of the examples I've been using in these series is a direct-to-consumer sales portal product. And if we've got functional areas that we've got more than one Agile team that are supporting, now they might be just managing dependencies, they're working on discrete quantities as a scope for their functional areas, managing if they've got to do any type of dependency management, regression testing, because they might be interacting with something that downstream could have an impact. Or they could be using the program lifecycle where, again, we've got the teams working in a more coordinated fashion. We might see in a situation like this, we'd get benefit from having a chief product owner, right? So pretty common. We've got multiple teams. Each team's got a product owner on it. Maybe one of the product owners plays the chief product owner role, or again, depending on the size and scale, we've got a chief product owner. Now, here's the thing is that this construct can add a lot of value and alleviate some of the challenges when we have multiple teams supporting a product and we need somebody to be a decision maker, right, the tiebreaker, to make sure that we've got decisions made timely from an overall product perspective. But when we're looking at value stream management and we're looking at minimum business increments, and we have some increments in our value stream that, again, have a little more complexity. The example I've shown in the past, and I'm showing here, a minimum business increment requiring enhancements in 4 products. Each product has a team. So each team is going to have a product owner, and each team is going to have an architecture owner, and they're going to have a team lead, and they're going to have team members. So here's something that is a very different shift in thinking that I wanted to bring out today, is that we might need a chief product owner that is functioning such as this, right? So now it's a product owner that is making decisions across multiple products, because we want to be able to deliver the value of this MBI as quickly as possible. We want to be able to have somebody that can make decisions that are at the MBI level, the value we're trying to deliver versus individual products, right? So again, a bit of a change here. So what we have seen in the past, and we've gotten DAs, we have, a single product focus, a chief product owner that is in this type of a construct. And as we look at a value stream focus, we've got a situation where we might need a product owner that is working with the teams in a very different way. So the last thing, and we might that could be extracted as we look at product management. We could have multiple product managers and a chief product manager to be doing something very similar when it comes to the business backlog and our intake queue. But the last thing that I also wanted to bring up from a role perspective is capacity. So we have our product manager, and the product manager is going to need subject matter experts both upstream and downstream. So the product manager would be interacting and collaborating with our business architect, as well as the product owners and architecture owners, and possibly a chief product owner if we're using one, to be able to bring the ordering to the business backlog, to be able to have those top ordered items come across the discovery workflow, to build those MBIs out, meeting our definition of ready, again, the amount of context, the written context that's needed, as well as the discussion and the collaboration that goes on. And I wanted to bring this last part up from a roles perspective. It's challenging sometimes to be able to get organizations to have somebody in a product owner role. And depending on, again, the capacity demands of a product owner, that could be full-time. So that's already a challenge. And now we're trying to reserve a certain quantity of their capacity on a very regular basis to attend to the needs of the product manager with respect to our business backlog and our intake queue, and how we get things into the intake queue and ready for them to be able to pull into the intake backlog. So that's another way that we need to start shifting, right, some of the responsibilities in our allocation of capacity around. So there are a lot of roles when it comes to value stream management. There are much more than I could cover in something like this. Again, we get into quite a bit of depth. We have an entire module on our Discipline Agile Value Stream Consultant course, which is the PMI certification workshop. And then in practice, you do quite a bit of work in tailoring at any given organization around the value of the roles and who might play them. And again, is it somebody that's going to have the majority of their capacity? Is it going to be they're going to be playing more than one role? So those are some of the things I want to put out there for consideration. And with that, I'll see if anyone has any questions or thoughts. I'm took a little bit more time today than I normally try and allocate, but there were a lot of things I did want to get in. Okay, I don't see anything in the chat window. I'll ask if you have anything in the future, please put it in the post on LinkedIn. I do try and regularly answer any questions or provide any additional context there. If you're watching this on replay, I'll encourage you to do the same or share some of your thoughts, any of the roles that you've seen from a value stream management perspective that has added value, that you'd like to bring some awareness to the community, or how you've seen some of the roles, again, needing to take on different responsibilities and allocate a bit of their capacity. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you next week.